Hello there and welcome. It's JT here. Welcome back to day two. Plan for success. Create the life you want. This is my first ever coaching series. Coaching is a passion of mine, and I'm very excited to share this information with you guys. Hopefully, you have a pen and paper ready and you're ready to get into day two. Uh, we're going to talk about paradigms today. If you don't know what a paradigm is, I'll explain it. A paradigm stops us from living the life we want to live. If you understand what a paradigm is, you can have anything you want. Now, there are probably some people watching that don't believe that. I didn't believe it at first either. But you can indeed live whatever way you want and you can create the life you want. You can do the things you want. If you'll do exactly what I'll tell you, I guarantee you in a year from now, you'll need a telescope to look back and see where you're at now. That's how much your life can change. And I don't even care how well you're doing. As you start to study this, your life will change. I want you to decide exactly what you want and write it down on paper. Writing causes thinking, and I want you to carry the paper with you wherever you go. Fold it up and take it with you, okay? If you'll carry that in your pocket, you'll have it in your life. I promise you that. Just keep reading it. Read it until you believe it. Keep reading it over and over, repetition. You don't need a fancy degree to create the life you want. You really don't. My coach only had 2 months of high school, and he was had a beautiful life. He was amazing guy. You are a unique individual. So am I, and so is everybody else. You can literally create the life you want. You can do that. The only thing standing in between you and what you want is yourself. It's all about the mind, and it's about your marvelous mind, folks. Now that we started there, we want to get into what is a paradigm. Okay. A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. It's a program in our subconscious mind that controls our behavior. If you want to think about this, we get out of bed in the morning and we move into a routine. If you're living with someone, a spouse, they have a routine. And normally you won't mess with it. No one normally messes with anybody's routine. You just let them do their thing in the morning. We just don't mess with it. We've all got a routine, and we do that day after day after day. And some of us do it for our entire life. The paradigm is a program that's in your subconscious mind. Here's the crazy part about it: the people who wrote the programming, the ones who wrote the code, didn't really know what they were doing. Unfortunately, now I've got a smartphone here. It's basically a computer, and the people who wrote that code really knew what they were doing. The smartphones work like a charm; they really do. The people writing the code for them are really well educated, and they knew what they were doing. But the people writing the code for our program that runs our life, they didn't know what they were doing. Unfortunately, most people don't even know they have a program. Think of this for a moment. How do you account for a person going to the very best schools in the world, getting prestigious degrees, then spend the rest of their life losing? How do you account for that? I'm going to tell you how. There's a part of your mind that gathers information. There's a part of your mind that when you read the book, it stores all the information. But that part of your mind is not the part that controls the behavior of your body. Your body is an instrument of your mind. And it's your body that moves into action and produces the results that you're getting in your life. Your income, money is a result. It's one of those results that you're getting. The money you earn is always going to be controlled by the paradigm. How much money you make a year determines where your program is. We want to raise your productivity real high. And when your productivity goes up, your income goes up with it. The paradigm controls your income. If you're struggling to grow your income, you really shouldn't buy into the idea that you need to go take another course in school, that you got to learn this or learn that. You got to understand how the paradigm works. That would help you. Let's take a look at these areas in your life that your paradigm controls. It controls one thing off the bat, your perception. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's perception. That's the power of perception. When you alter your perception, your whole world changes. Your paradigm controls how you look at things, how you see things. Your paradigm also controls your use of time. Did you know everyone gets the same amount of time in a day? You'll hear people say, I just don't have time for this. I just don't have time for that. I just don't have time. You can't manage time. None of us can, but we can manage our activities. The hobo that's sleeping on the park bench, he has the same amount of time as the most productive person in this world. It's what we do with our time that makes the difference. Your paradigm controls your creativity as well. Some people say they aren't creative, and that's false. Everyone is creative. You were created in God's image. That means you're a creative being. Your creativity will have lots to do with your effectiveness. And your effectiveness controls your productivity. Now, there's something that stops almost every single person when they come across it, and that's logic. They'll say, well, you can't do that. That's illogical. The Wright brothers were illogical. Edison was illogical. No one ever got a plane off the ground, and no one ever made a light bulb. Those people were totally illogical. But they introduced us to a brand new kingdom. They did not let logic stop them. Last but not least, your paradigm controls your ability to earn money. Now, it's almost like we have a box around these areas. And when we go to change anything in those areas, it's like we hit a wall and bounce right back. When you make a decision that you're going to change the paradigm, the walls come down. Now, that doesn't mean you change anything, but the walls do come down. And when you go to move, you aren't stopped by the paradigm. I want you to imagine how much your life would change if you begin to improve any or all of these areas in your life. The change would be huge and the change would be permanent. So beautiful. When your paradigm shifts, everything in your life shifts. Imagine if you change the paradigm when it comes to your use of time. Do you know if you studied for just 1 hour a day, got up early, got up an hour early, let's say, in the morning, and studied for 1 hour a day? Do you know that that's 9 40-hour weeks in the period of a year? And that's concentrated study we're talking about. Imagine if you studied the mind for 1 hour a day, the change would be enormous. Your income would change. If you just change your use of time, your income would absolutely skyrocket. It's all in the mind, and it's all that you got to change is your mind. You can't change, but I can't change you, but you can change you. So listen up. Look at the mind and paradigms. Your mind, your paradigms, the mind is an activity, not a thing. When we go to get help from doctors, the doctors treat the body. We've got to understand the doctors are treating a symptom, not treating the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem is in the mind, the paradigm. It's what's going on in the mind that controls the body. It's what's going on in the subconscious mind that controls your body. You become what you think about. Thinking is the highest function we are capable of. That's our educated mind, the conscious mind. This is where all the books are piled, all the information is stored, is in the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is a bit different. The conscious mind is the intellectual mind. The subconscious is the emotional mind. The conscious mind can think, therefore, it can choose. You can choose whatever you want. No one can cause you to think something you don't want to think. You have the ability to choose your thoughts. You can accept or reject all the negativity that you see on the TV, that you read in the newspaper. You can reject all of that. Now, that doesn't mean it goes away, but it will go away for you. You don't have to give your conscious attention to a lot of stuff that won't do you any good. The conscious mind can accept or reject. Now, when it's let it go, you have the ability to originate. So when you let go, you can originate new thoughts, anything you want. You're a creative being. Now, your subconscious mind doesn't have any of those abilities to reject. Your subconscious mind is immoral. It's like the earth. It doesn't care what you plant. It cannot reject what you plant. Whatever you plant will grow, whether it's nightshade, a deadly poison, or crop of corn. It's totally subjective. Your subconscious mind cannot determine the difference between that which is real and that which is imagined. When you imagine something, it's every bit of real as if it was there in your physical world. So when you build a picture of your goal in your conscious mind and impress it on your subconscious accepts it as real, accepts it as fact. The conscious mind can think. So when all this negativity flies at you, you can say, get out of here. You don't want none of it. Reject it. 90% of the population, they don't do that though. Why is that? That's because they leave their mind wide open and they're not thinking. The subconscious is wide open and accepts it all. It has no ability to reject. Why would people leave their mind wide open? Well, that's because they've been programmed to do that. Their mind is wide open and they accept all that negativity. They're sitting there watching the news and the commercials and everything, and they're not thinking. It just goes right into the emotional mind and it gets them worked up, it gets them upset. Now, as an infant, the conscious faculties, your conscious mind, the ability to reject ideas, as an infant, it has not been developed yet. Everything that is going on in the environment of the child goes right into the subconscious mind of the child. Everything that goes on around the child is done by repetition. It just dumps right into the subconscious, the conversations, the talk about money, the arguments. If the baby grows up in a home that is bilingual, the baby will speak two languages. When a baby is born, it has no ability to reject information. The subconscious can only accept it, it cannot reject. Whatever is pounded in there over and over again sticks, and that's how the paradigm is formed. And 30 years later, the paradigm is still in control of most of them. Now, Einstein said the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. It's unfortunate. We have to use our higher faculties. One of those higher faculties is perception. We have memory as well, imagination. Your imagination is the most marvelous tool that we have. Our imagination will take us anywhere we want to go. It's with our imagination which everything around us was created. The furniture around you, the phone in your pocket, the phone in your hand, maybe everything. Even the houses you see, everything was designed by someone's beautiful imagination. The clothes, designing clothes, everything. Then you have something called reason as well in your higher faculties. Reason is our ability to think, and we have intuition as well. Animals, they blend into their environment. They have what they call natural instinct. We have had our instinct removed and we were given intuition. Your intuition is God speaking to you. So make sure you listen to your intuition. You can pick up on people's bad moods, their vibrations. Your intuition can sense a bad vibration. You can sense when someone's in a bad mood. And it translates right to your mind. You pick that up. And last but not least, we have willpower. That's our last higher faculty. You know, President Kennedy asked Dr. Wernher von Braun, what would it take to carry a man to the moon and back safely? Von Braun said, the will to do it. The will is our ability to hold one idea on the screen of the mind to the exclusion of all others, all other distractions. It's a marvelous tool, the willpower, and most people don't even know they've got it. We have 5 senses as well. See, hear, smell, taste, touch. Those sensory factors are hooked up like little antennas and to our conscious mind. And we use those to get in touch with our outside world. Most people use those to control their life. They let something going on outside of them determine which way they're going to go, what tastes good, what smells good, what looks good. All of our higher faculties are used to change what is going on in our emotional mind. So if you want to change your subconscious mind, you need to use the higher faculties and not your 5 senses. And the subconscious mind, that's where the paradigm it lives. That it lives in the emotional mind. As you change your emotional mind, you change the vibration you're in. When you change your vibration, you change what you attract to yourself. Now, most of you have never been taught how to use your higher faculties, And that's where all the power lies, actually. That's what separates us from all of the animal kingdom. Where they are always at home in their environment, we are totally disoriented in our environment. We're disoriented in our environment because we've been given the ability to create our own environment, unlike the animals. And this is why most people's lives are really in a confused state. They have never been taught how to use their higher faculties. And because they haven't been taught how to use them, they don't know how to use them. You don't know what you don't know. It's with these higher faculties that we use to deal with our inside world. What's going on inside? There's only two sources of reference you can go to find out anything about yourself. One is science, and the other is theology. There isn't anywhere else you can go. That's it. So, what we want to do is learn how to use those higher faculties. As you start to learn how to use them, you will change your paradigm with ease. Your paradigm is controlling your life. It's literally controlling your life. It controls your income. It controls your imagination, which is your most marvelous tool you have. It controls everything that you're doing. We want to build a new paradigm. And when you build a new paradigm, your whole life changes right before your eyes. Now, you guys, this is a short one today. I will be back again with day 2. I hope you guys took a ton of notes here. It may seem short, only 15 minutes, but there's a ton of information I gave you here. So please go back and listen to this video. It's so important to have the repetition and be going through this material, because every time you go through the material again, you'll pick up something new, and you'll continually learn and see things a different way. You'll use your perspective. I'm so happy and grateful to have had this opportunity to share this information with you all. Change your results, change your life, plan for success, and create the life you want. Coaching is one of my ultimate dreams, and I appreciate you guys for supporting that. I will see you guys tomorrow on day 3, and then Sunday for day 4, okay? Thank you and goodbye, folks, okay?